Hello and welcome to Midcap Radar. We welcome you with M&M's Q3 numbers. The company's top line has seen a growth of about 18%. This is driven by a 20% jump in the company's auto business. The EBITDA has come largely in line with street expectations. EBITDA number at about 4,400 crore rupees, and profits too have gone up by 20.8%. These are very slightly lower than street expectations, at least on the bottom line. On the bottom line, the CNBC TV18 poll was for a growth of about 29%. Compared to that, the company's delivered about a 20-21% bottom line growth. But again, these are very strong numbers and the stock is holding up in the green. Margins in line at 14.4%. So top line growth 18%. Margins at 14.4%, and this is an expansion versus the 12.8% clocked in the comparable quarter of last year. So margins for the company are up 160 basis points, and that is driving a 21% increase in the company's profitability. Revenues in line, margins in line. Profits too are very healthy at 21%, but again, you would say maybe slightly lower than street expectations. M&M has been one of the best performing stocks. I think last year it was up close to about 85%, and in 3 years, the stock has given a return of close to about 250% because their SUV portfolio has been doing very well. Tractors, they've always been the dominant player, and that has been driving growth. So the volumes for the company have been very strong. I think in Q3, Sudarshan was telling us that volume growth was 16% in auto and about 20% in tractor. These are the internals. We've got the auto business numbers up 20% growth on a year-on-year basis. So, at least these are the few internals that we have right now. Auto business EBITDA seems to have seen an expansion because the top line growth is 20%. EBIT growth is close to about 37%.
Absolutely interesting numbers surely coming in, and there are going to be a lot of factors that one should watch out for in terms of commentary also, right? Like you were mentioning, volume 17% is what Sudarshan has highlighted. So keep an eye out on that. We'll also want to watch out for the ramp up that one could see coming in from the XUV 400. So what is that? Strong volumes is surely something that we're seeing coming in from the company. Auto segment, the EBIT that we're seeing is good. Agri-business EBIT is at 42% up YOY, 30% uptick on a quarter-on-quarter basis. The stock is seeing some bit of a gain and momentum coming in, and auto business EBIT also is at 9.7% versus 8.5%. So we're seeing an improvement even coming in on the EBIT front of individual segments as well. So yes, largely when we're seeing in terms of estimates, margin has met the estimates of the street, revenue is in line with the street estimates as well, and overall versus the poll, even the EBIT performance has been good. Interesting to watch out for in terms of that front.
The stock is now moving up. Yes. It was up 0.5% when the numbers came out. It dipped a tad bit, but now again it's up close to about 1.5%. That's M&M for you. Pull up a 3-year chart of M&M or 2-year chart, and you would see the kind of outperformance M&M has clocked in vis-a-vis peers because its portfolio is doing very well. You know, the XUV 500, 700 has been sold out. There's a very, very long waiting period. Tractors, it's Tractors has also had a pretty good run given the monsoons have been normal. So M&M has been on the front foot, 85% up in the last 1 year, 250% in the last 3 years. And if you look at a 5-year CAGR on M&M stock price, it's given a return of 40%. So true wealth creator in the large cap space. Gurmeet Chadha, managing partner, CIO at Complete Circle, is now with us to discuss the numbers. Gurmeet, your initial thoughts on M&M?
Hello?
Yes, Gurmeet, we can hear you. Did you have a chance to go through M&M's at least?
Yeah. So, I think a good set of numbers. I think if you see revenue, they've crossed 30,000 crore mark. EBITDA is, I think, in my view, again, an all-time high at almost inching in at about 4,500 odd crores. And there is a bit of a margin expansion. I think what is, good here is the fact that they've been focusing on, they've regained their market share in SUVs. It's back at about 20%. I think the new EV launch has happened. They've started the bookings. The response has been pretty good. I have a few clients who are very large dealers of M&M in North. I think there's a lot of excitement there. Tractors, they are gaining market share. And the best thing has been since Anish came over Yeah. Hello? Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Anish came in. I think the focus on capital allocation has been pretty solid. They have cut down on loss making. JVs they had clear allocation towards how business is to be done. There was one bit of a blip when they bought some stake in RBL Bank, which Street did not like. but I think that clarification came that it was just an investment and they had no plans as such. So I think pretty constructive, and valuations I would say are modest, would not say reasonable. But I think the new EV and uptick in rural demand could still give some legs to M&M.
Okay, so, Gurmeet, do wait on with us. We do have Sudarshan who's joining in with us, who's done some number crunching in terms of the M&M's Q3 performance. Sudarshan, what are they looking like versus the CNBC TV 18 poll? Any more highlights that you could shine on these numbers?
From the first look, it's looking a very strong set of earnings. Even expectations were elevated. Company has managed to meet estimates on all the fronts, whether you take auto segment or farm segment. So overall revenue was 30,500 crore against our expectation of 30,600 crore odd. So it's almost in line. EBITDA has come in at almost 4,400 crore. Again, in line with estimate. Margin company has managed to hold on to the levels above 14%. It has come in around 14.5%. That is also almost in line. If you talk about the segments, for auto business, revenue has increased 20% year on year, and even sequentially, if you look at, it's up 6%, and even EBIT is up 37% year on year and 8% sequentially. Agri business, again, 21%. YOY 26% sequentially. EBIT for agribusiness 42% up YOY and 30% sequentially. So it's telling you, as in morning we were talking about the two segments, basically SUV and tractor. Demand has been strong for both these SUV and tractor, and the leader is M&M. So led by healthy volumes, company has managed to report a very strong set of numbers for Q3. But we have to see exactly what does company say on the demand front, if the demand is sustainable, and how is the demand going on in current quarter, and how the demand has been for the recently launched electric vehicles. So these two, and last is the considering the demand for tractor segment, if there is a pickup or if there is an increase in FY25 growth estimates, because currently it has been like mid-single digit growth. So if we'll have to see if M&M says that there is an uptick expected as well. So considering all these things, first Q3, very strong set of numbers, but all eyes would be on company's commentary related to demand.
I remember earlier this month only, right, Sudarshan, they had launched those two, native electric, purely electric born vehicles. I think it was 6BE, something on those lines.
6BEV.
6BEV, yeah. And there was so much excitement around the stock price, on the prospects and what it will do. And it was also fairly competitively priced versus peers. So have they given any indication of the bookings for that?
So I'm yet to see exactly what the company has commented about bookings, but both those products were feature-rich products. And one advantage that all the brokerages were talking about, those two products are not only feature-rich, but the pricing part was very important, and company has managed to announce the price, and basically prices were very attractive. So considering these two factors, and I feel the demand obviously would have been strong.
Okay, thank you very much for that. The key positive is that growth continues for M&M, 18% top line growth, and both the auto business and the tractor, the farm equipment business is doing well, and there is margin expansion. Margins for the company have expanded from 12.8 to 14.4% on a year-on-year basis. That's a 160 basis point margin expansion, and that is something that the street likes. I think the question now is, because of the run-up, how do the valuations stack up?
Absolutely. And let's go across to Gurmeet on that front as well. And Gurmeet, like Rima was saying, how is it going to be in terms of valuation? M&M numbers have been good. Commentary is what everyone is watching out for. But on the valuation front, does it make a good bet right now?
I think it should be more like something which is very consistent in the large cap space. It's not stretched, it's not cheap. It's 25, 30 times, and this is one auto stock which hasn't really corrected, along with Maruti. Actually has done well in the crisis. See, other thing is, if you look at its powertrain a few years back, pre-COVID, it was 72% diesel. Right now, if you look at it now, the diesel is almost 50-55%. There is EV which they are launching. There is CNG which they have included. So even the powertrain now is catering to different segments, which I think augurs well. Depending on how the landscape is changing as far as clean energy goes. And I think this new EV launch, as I said, few of the distributors who are clients went for the launch in Chennai in their R&D center and had some great feedback on that. So I think they've just started the bookings. I think immediate trigger could be how strong the bookings are. Remember when they did this all 4 SUVs back to back, which is XUV 700, Bolero. If the bookings pick up, there could be some. Although I'm not commenting on near-term movement, but there could be a bit of momentum in the near term because of that.
Okay, Gurmeet, thank you so much for joining in with us and giving us insights in terms of M&M's number, what we should be expecting in terms of the stock going forward as well. But key is going to be the commentary that we're keeping an eye out on. As of now, M&M is trading almost near the day's highest point, so keep an eye out on that.